Hello everybody and welcome to a brand new video. Today we will be finishing off our Sonic Generations Remastered playthrough. So yeah, let's get straight into this.
Okay, Gruesome, you're cornered. So how about you just give up and restore the timeline like you found it?
You're not in a position to demand anything, you nasty little pincushion.
Eggman! No wonder!
He had a little help.
Dr. Robotnik?
Nobody calls me that anymore. If you would be so kind as to explain, gentleman genius Dr. Eggman from the future. It will be my pleasure, most excellent and efficacious Dr. Eggman of the past. After Sonic ruined my interstellar amusement park, I stumbled upon a dark primordial essence. I discovered it possessed abilities I have long desired to harness for myself. Namely, that it could travel through the dimension of time, so I decided to utilize its marvelous capabilities and rewrite the past. In order to perfect it, I needed the help of somebody as smart as I am. The only person that smart is me. Oh, you are too kind, my dear future self, and I was happy to help. And now all of time is ours, to do with as we please.
But the more your monster tears through the timeline, the more damage you do to it.
So, I'm going to erase that line and reshape it as I see fit. And they call me eccentric. No one will judge us anymore after we've destroyed these Sonics forever. Shall we begin then, Doctor? By all means, my dear Doctor.
Destroy me? In your dreams, Eggman. I beat you all the time by myself, and now there's two of me.
Then I'll have twice as much fun defeating you.
Keep moving!
Move all you want. I'm still going to squash you into a blue jelly. That was just to soften you up. Now it's time to meet your doom.
You're tougher than that. Come on!
Not you.
On your feet.
You're not beat yet.
Who are they? They are insignificant. You face worse, Sonic.
Focus your spirit.
We're right behind you. I believe in you, Mr. Sonic. Embrace the emeralds.
Harness their power, Sonic.
You have to win, Sonic, like you've done time and again.
Time to scramble some Eggman, supersonic style!
Right then, here we go. It is time to fight against the Time Eater. And hopefully we can obviously destroy this with pretty much ease, as obviously it is probably one of the worst boss fights in all time. If I am being truly honest, I think Generations is of course a great game, but what makes it a little bit annoying is, of course, this boss fight, and as I mentioned in the last episode, Planet Wisp as well. The last two things you basically play in this game are easily the worst two things that you play in this game as well. But that's not going to stop us from, you know, absolutely destroying this time eater. Honestly, I think the hardest thing about this is trying to, you know, completely ignore all of his friends saying these messages over and over again. It does get really... And there you go. That looks like a Homan shot. That is the iconic lines that we have been all waiting for. It always comes, and once it comes, it never stops. Oh my god, get that line out of my ears right this instant. You know, we just need to defeat this boss as quickly as possible. Honestly, if I was making the Sonic Generations remaster and I only had one thing to change, it would be this boss fight. I would completely bin this version of it and start again, basically, because I'm sure nowadays especially that they could come up with, you know, something a lot better. I think half of the issue, as I said, is just the home and shot lines from, you know, all the other characters in this fight, if I am being perfectly honest with you. But yeah, I think we're almost done with this. Obviously, I think we just have to hit him one more time, and then it will, of course, be that final phase. But yeah, honestly, I am so glad that, you know, nowadays in Sonic games, we actually have good boss fights, and, you know, I'm so glad we've been able to move on from times like this Time Eater boss fight. But saying that, this Time Eater boss fight is definitely the worst boss fight in probably the entire franchise. As we attack him once again, and I think it is time for the final phase, maybe, if I remember correctly, or maybe one more hit. Yeah, I think it's one more hit, and then we will be able to be done with this Time Eater. It would have been interesting if they did remake this to see how differently they would have done it, because I know, as I've said many times already throughout this boss fight, that I think one of the first things they would have definitely removed is the characters, you know, constantly saying, that looks like a Herman shot, you know, because that does get annoying very quickly. But yeah, and honestly, they probably make it more cinematic, I would guess, with, you know, how recent boss fights have been inside of these games. You know, it would definitely be interesting. Let me know what you would change about the Time Eaters boss fight, because I would be really interested in knowing just exactly how you would personally improve this boss fight. And yeah, I'm sure you guys will come up with a lot of interesting, you know, ideas, and I will be looking forward to reading them. Here we go, another hit right here. We get a few more rings, and now is the final phase, or have they added more to it? No. Here we go. Time for this final phase. Here we go. Lovely. Oh, skadoosh! Oh my god. I can't believe he chose the Sonic 4 song for this. It's so funny. But yeah, we have destroyed the Time Eater. Lovely. What rank do we get? We get an S rank, of course. I think it is actually impossible not to get an S rank on this boss fight. But yeah, let's move on.
Still warm. Time travel.
Talking about. I'll admit, you weren't half bad, Sonic.
Half bad? Are you kidding? He was all great. So, I have a question for you. Once we're home, you think the timeline will be restored? Yep. Just don't think about it too hard.
It was great teaming up with you, or me. Maybe this will fast track you to learning some new tricks in the future. Wait, I mean, past. Ugh, time travel's a chore. Dude, sweet! And you're only gonna get better!
There's our portal home.
Hey, Sonic! Enjoy your future! It's gonna be great!
Are you sure you saw a door over here? What? You were the one who said you saw a door over here? Well, I know it was one of us. Shut up and keep looking. What time is it? It's the exact same time as when you asked earlier, and it'll be the exact same time when you ask later. There is no time here! Let me just say that this was a brilliant plan that you came up with. Don't get too self-righteous. It'll be your plan pretty soon. I'm gonna dedicate the rest of my life to forgetting it. I heard that! Do we ever win? That depends on your definition of win. Beating Sonic. Oh, well then no. That doesn't give me much hope. Maybe I'll go back and get my teaching degree. That's not a bad idea. I've always enjoyed telling people what to do.
That is, of course, our Sonic Generations Remastered playthrough coming to an end. Honestly, I have enjoyed going through this remaster, you know. It was something I did really look forward to playing when they first announced the SonicXShadowGenerations game. And I've got to say, yeah, Generations is just perfect as it is, isn't it, to be honest, you know. Although I would have wanted to see more graphical improvements and things like that, you know, to bring it closer to the Hedgehog Engine 2 and the Shadow Generations graphics and things like that. Generations is just pretty much perfect as it is, to be honest. Honestly, I'm okay with how this remaster did turn out. You know, it's nothing insane. It's just, it's fine, you know. Yeah, I feel like the remaster was more so for the console version of Generations and things like that, rather than the PC version, even though there are things that kind of like make the gameplay a bit more smoother and the frame rate and whatever, but that's to just be expected with a remaster, I guess. But you know, things as well like them adding the Dreamcast version of Sonic and the Sonic Jam version of Classic Sonic as well is really cool, if I am being honest. I really like the addition of more skins, and hopefully we get more skins in the future as well, you know, because obviously we're getting a movie Shadow skin. So I think it would make sense if we also got a movie Sonic skin, and hey, maybe even a Tails skin and a Knuckles skin as well to go alongside it, who knows. Another thing I would have liked to have seen come to Generations, but obviously it didn't, is more stages, because yeah, I feel like that was definitely one of the wasted potentials with this game all the way back when it was first released, was that they didn't really, you know, update it that much with new stages and things like that post launch. And yeah, that was honestly really disappointing back then. And you know, the fact that there's still no new stages inside of Generations as well, it's kind of sad, but honestly I can kind of understand it at the same time, considering, you know, it's still the Hedgehog Engine 1 and they probably, I don't know, maybe don't have like the resources or whatever to go back and add new stages to it, or maybe they don't think it's like worth it. And you know, as I said in the most recent Shadow Generations episode, I think it would be cool if they did like a Sonic DLC for that game, if they, you know, aren't gonna bring new stages to Sonic Generations. I think a Sonic DLC inside of Shadow Generations would be a really cool addition, and then, you know, maybe we could get some new Sonic stages for Generations. Overall, as I said, I'm really happy with, you know, the remaster being how it is. Is it perfect? No. Is it fine? Absolutely. You know, I can understand why they didn't want to go all out with a Generations remaster, because yeah, they probably wanted to focus more on the Shadow Generations side of things. Would it be interesting if, you know, this game had a longer, whether, you know, they maybe could have potentially moved the whole of Generations over to the Hedgehog Engine 2, and then maybe they would have brought out new stages for it, but I guess we will never know about that. And yeah, as well, of course, the new dialogue in the cutscenes is again something that is really interesting. I think it's perfectly fine as well, you know, what he did with it. It doesn't really bother me because Sonic Generations isn't that too interesting of a story. Of course, it is just an anniversary game with a very unserious story, and you know, them changing a few lines in the dialogue was never going to like make me angry or whatever. I think, as I said, it's perfectly fine. I know some people are like mixed opinions about it, and I totally understand if people don't like the changes or whatever, but yeah, it doesn't really bother me. You know, if it was something like Sonic Unleashed or something like that, and you completely redid the lines for that game and the voice acting for that game and everything like that, then maybe I would have a problem. But Generations is fine the way it is, and yeah, a few little changes to the dialogue is not going to, you know, make me angry or anything like that. But yeah, I guess the next thing is, what remaster will we get next? And I honestly think it will be Sonic Heroes, because that has been rumoured for a while now, you know, the Unreal Engine 5 and Sonic Heroes and all this thing would be pretty cool, if I'm being honest. And yeah, I feel like Heroes would be a great remake slash remaster, depending on what they do with it. I guess if it's on the Unreal Engine 5, I guess it will be a remake. And honestly, that would be absolutely insane because I love that game so much. And then, you know, maybe when Sonic Movie 4 comes out, because we know we're getting that for sure, maybe they will do like a year of Silver and we might get that Sonic 06 remake that they've been talking about recently. And honestly, I kind of hope we do, because a Sonic 06 remake would be one of the most insane moves that they could pull off. Because, you know, to go from what Sonic 06 originally was and then turn it into potentially maybe one of the best Sonic games ever, if that does happen, it would break the internet, probably. But yeah, that is going to be all for today's video. I hope you have all enjoyed it, and until next time, peace out.